These are the Winged Hussars, one of Europe's greatest elite cavalry forces, feared by enemies and revered by allies. A force that single-handedly broke sieges and changed the course of history, withstanding in time where heavy cavalry was in decline and pikes reigned supreme. In this video, we will look at the history, armor, achievements, and legacy of the Great Winged Hussars, the cavalry that saved Europe. The Hussars are traditionally believed to have originated from Serbian and Hungarian light cavalry called Hussars. After the Battle of Kosovo, 1309, in which the Serbs were defeated by the Ottoman Turks, these Serbian warriors fled to Poland to continue the fight against their oppressors. The Hussars were armed with a lance paired with an oval shield made of wood. They wore no protective armor, reason being that they were designed to be light and expendable in mercenaries to counter fast-moving enemy cavalry. When King Stefan Batory came to power in 1576, reforms were made to the Hussars influenced by his Hungarian roots in military practices, such as standardized helmets among troops. This was a major turning point for the Hussars. Reforms to the Hussars by King Stefan Batory of Poland transformed these warriors to heavier cavalry called Hussaria, a term used specifically in Poland for the elite heavy cavalry. While the original units of Hussaria were foreign mercenaries, they were eventually replaced with almost exclusively wealthy Polish-Lithuanian nobility as of the 17th century. This highlights how the Hussars became a financial status symbol, not just warriors. A Hussar had to pay for his own equipment and horses, which often cost the equivalent of an entire village. This marked the end of the Serbian Hussar and the birth and rise of the Hussaria, the legendary heavy cavalry force that would become legends of history as we know today. The reforms to the Hussars by King Stefan Batory radically changed the Hussars from a light cavalry into an elite heavy shock cavalry. The Hussars typically wore half armor consisting of a steel breastplate with reinforced bones in the center and were paired with a helmet. They were worn to balance protection against sword slashes and enemy fire while maintaining high speed, mobility, and endurance for shock cavalry charges. It is also known that the Karasina armor was worn. It was based on Sarmatian and Scythian armor and consisted of iron scales riveted on leather. It was heavier, more expensive than plate armor, and provided less protection, so it is believed that it was mainly used by commanders and as parade armor. Under the half armor, the Hussars wore a zupan, which is a padded robe or kaftan. Some wore a buff leather coat as extra protection, along with an occasional doublet with mail sleeves or chainmail. The Hussar wore a sizak, a type of burgonet helmet influenced by Persian, Turkish, and Western European helmet designs. The helmets protected the head and the neck while allowing for high visibility and freedom of movement. They were frequently adorned with brass, gilded rivets, or etching. In addition, the Hussars usually wore an exotic leopard, tiger, or lion pelt over their left shoulder, or were worn underneath the saddle or wrapped around the hips. Wolf, brown bear, and lynx pelts were reserved for leaders and veterans. These pelts could act as status symbols and protect the horse's back from rain. The primary weapons of the Hussars was their iconic lance known as the kopia, known for its lightweight, long hollow shaft measuring between 14 to 20 feet, and its exceptional effectiveness on the battlefield. The kopia is often made out of fir wood that is hollowed out, then wrapped with leather with the use of animal hide glue to obtain a very light yet perfectly rigid weapon with significant range. The center of gravity of the lance is shifted back by a heavy ball counterweight, which also served as a guard for the soldier's hand and made it easier to maneuver the weapon. These weapons were one-time use, so to restock, Hussars had wagons for replacement lances on the rear. Other weapons of the Hussars were the sabers, concerts, a long stabbing sword, pistols, carbines, warhammers, maces, and a horseman's pick. The wings are one of the most iconic parts of the Polish Winged Hussars. The wings originate from the Hussars and were originally used as decoration for parades. It eventually became used on the battlefield. The wings were made up of three primary components: the frame, the feathers, and the mounting hardware. The skeleton of the wing was a tall, curved wooden frame, often referred to as a batten or slat, typically made of lightweight but sturdy wood to avoid weighing down the horse or rider. For elite Hussars, these frames were not bare. They were frequently covered in crimson velvet or painted and adorned with brass or gold ornaments. A row of holes was drilled along the back rim of the frame to hold the individual feathers in place. The wings used a variety of bird feathers, chosen for their size and symbolic power. Eagle feathers were the most prized and commonly used. Other feathers, like falcon or vulture, were used, while ostrich, swan, or goose feathers were popular for parades and often dyed in vibrant colors like red, blue, or green. Feathers were inserted into pre-drilled holes in the wooden frames. They were often glued or reinforced to ensure they didn't blow away during a charge. This method of carrying the wings evolved over the 17th century, requiring specific attachment points. Metal tubes or holders were riveted to either the backplate of a rider's armor or the cantle of the saddle. Special metal rods or stirrups were attached to the wooden frame. These rods would slide into the holders on the armor or saddle, allowing the wings to be easily removed when not needed for a battle or a ceremony. Besides serving a role as decoration, they had functional elements. The wings were great for psychological warfare. The wings would strike terror into enemy troops, as seeing a formation of armored angels charging at full speed would be a fearful sight for the enemy. It is also noted that the rustling and clattering sounds made by the feathers and wooden frames during a charge is believed to have frightened enemy horses, though this is still debated by historians. The 17th century was the peak of the Hussars' dominance, earning themselves the reputation as one of the most effective cavalry units in history. They consistently defeated larger armies through superior tactics and the devastating effects of their lances. Notable battles of the Winged Hussars is the Battle of Chronivum, 1605, in which a Polish-Lithuanian force of 3,600, mostly Hussars, defeated a Swedish army of 11,000 in just 20 to 30 minutes. The Swedes lost 8,000 men, while the Commonwealth only lost 100. 5 years later, at the Battle of Chronivum, 1610, approximately 6,500 Poles, consisting majorly of about 5,500 Hussars, defeated a combined Russian and Swedish force of 35,000. This led to the Polish occupation of Moscow for 2 years, a primary example of Hussar supremacy. The famous charge of the Hussars during the siege of Vienna is one of the most famous examples of the Hussars' dominance on the battlefield. King Jan Sobieski III led the largest cavalry charge in history. Consisting roughly of 18,000 horsemen, including 3,000 Hussars, they charged down the Kallenberg Hills. The charge shattered the Ottoman siege lines, saving Vienna and marking a turning point in European Ottoman history. The Hussars began by charging in a loose formation to minimize casualties from firearms and only tighten into a knee-to-knee wall at the very last moment to maximize impact. To perfect the tactic, it required incredible discipline. The horses of the Hussars also played a vital role, as they rode a special breed of Polish-Arabian hybrid horses. These horses were strong enough to carry heavy armor, but agile enough to perform tight maneuvers at a full gallop. To sell a Hussar horse to a foreigner was a crime punishable by death. That is how vital they were to the secret of the Hussars. The decline of the Hussars was one of their enemies adapting to their presence. The Swedes used new, faster shooting muskets, which were more lethal to cavalry forces. Enemies of the Hussars also began using tactics such as the so-called Frisian horses, which were portable and spiked anti-cavalry obstacles that could be placed on the battlefield to protect shooters. When used correctly, Frisian horses fully blocked any possibility of a successful charge by the Hussars. Other factors that helped speed their unfortunate demise were that their reputation had suffered due to the quality of soldiers seeking to join them had visibly decreased. The slumping Polish economy did not help their situation. Soon the Hussars were watered down to only a representative role, such as performing duties like honor guards and parades. The Hussars officially ceased to exist in 1776 by a decree of the Polish parliament, effectively ending their return to military glory. Though gone, the legacy of the Hussars still remains. They have cemented their place in Polish folklore and national pride. The Hussars influenced other European armies to refine their own shock units, even as infantry and artillery became dominant on the battlefield. The Polish Hussars are depicted on the commemorative 500 złotek golden coin. Badge of the Polish Army's 11th Armored Cavalry Division features a stylized hussar wing and helmet. In 2016, the Swedish metal band Sabaton wrote the song Winged Hussars for their album The Last Stand. It was to commemorate the Hussars' charge during the Siege of Vienna. On May 1, 2024, Poland announced that the Polish-operated F-35 fighter aircraft would be called Hussars in honor of the Hussars. Authentic Polish Winged Hussar armor, weapons, and sabers can primarily be seen at the Polish Army Museum in Warsaw, Wawel Royal Castle in Krakow, and the Princess Czechoslovsky Museum. The Hussars will continue to be remembered as one of the greatest warriors of history. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe if you wish to see more and better content like this. Your support helps.